Greetings, I am Dr. G. Suresh, Assistant Professor, PG Department of Computer Applications, St.Joseph's College of Arts and Science, Autonomous, Cuddalore. In this presentation, we will discuss about the different phases of the software process models. The phases of software project contains the following aspects. A software project is made up of a series of phases. The first one is requirements gathering and analysis. In this phase only, the requirements are gathered for the software to be constructed and also analyzed, and the problem domain is formulated in the requirements gathering phase. Next comes the planning. The planning is done with the help of the input received from the requirements gathering and analysis phase. After planning gets over, the next phase is design phase. The input for the design is planning. With the input from the plan, the design phase, the design for the process is developed, and the next phase is development or coding. Here is where the actual coding takes place. The coding is done with the help of the design done in the design phase. The next phase is the testing phase. The code which has been developed is tested in the testing phase. Any errors or any corrections, modifications are rectified in the testing phase. And after the testing phase, the project is deployed, the software is deployed in the customer site. The deployment also includes maintenance. Regarding the software project, we should deal with quality, quality assurance, and quality control. Quality is nothing but it is meeting the requirements expected of the software consistently and predictably. Quality is the main essence of any software project which we are going to develop. Here, each test case is further characterized by the environment under which the test case is to be executed, inputs that should be provided for the test case, what changes should be produced in the internal state or environment, and what output should be produced. Now we'll discuss what is quality control. Quality control is defect detection and defect correction oriented and works on the product rather than on the process. This is product oriented. Quality control is product oriented and it mainly focuses on defect detection and defect correction rather than producing the product. It focuses only on the product. The next is quality assurance, which attempts to defect prevention by concentrating on the process of producing rather than working on defect detection or correction after the product is built. Quality assurance activity takes place during the development of the project. Testing, verification, validation. The purpose of testing is to uncover defects in the system, that is, to have someone fix the defects. Testing is done by a set of people within a software product or service organization whose goal and character is to uncover the defects in the product before it reaches the customer. The main objective of testing is to uncover the defects before the customer finds them out. Verification is the process of evaluating a system or component to determine whether the product of a given phase satisfies the conditions imposed at the start of that phase. It is making sure that the product which you are going to develop must meet certain things before it is going to start. It must meet certain criteria in order to begin. This is verification, making sure that it meets the requirements to start that phase. Next comes validation. Validation is a process of evaluating a system or component during or at the end of the development process to determine whether it satisfies specified requirements. It checks whether all the customer's requirements have been met or not. There is a big difference between verification and validation. Verification is done at the beginning and validation is done during the process or at the end of the process. We can associate quality assurance with verification and quality control as a validation activity. Now we will deal with the different process model to represent the different phases of a software project. In this model, each phase of a software project is characterized by the following. It can be simply defined as ETVX model. It is entry criteria, E, task, verification and exit criteria. Entry criteria specify when that phase can be started and it also includes the input for that phase. So when a phase has to be started, it must meet the entry criteria. That is, what are the inputs needed? All those things should be ready for the project to get started, for the phase or the project to get started. This is the entry criteria. The next one is task. Tasks are steps that need to be carried out in that phase along with measurements that characterize the task. A task is nothing but what are the functions that need to be carried out in that phase is defined here. Next is verification, which specifies methods of checking that the tasks have been carried out correctly. It is a process by which we can ensure that the tasks have been carried out correctly. Now finally comes the exit criteria, which stipulate the conditions under which one can consider the phase as done. Also included are the outputs for only that phase. This specifies only the output for that phase. Exit criteria means it ensures that it has completed the task which it has been assigned. So this can be simply explained with the help of a simple diagram. This model known as entry E, task T, V, verification, exit or ETVX, entry, task, verification and exit model offers several advantages for effective verification validation to build a error-free software. This can be explained with the help of a simple diagram. This is ETVX model applied only to the design phase. There are many phases. We apply ETVX model to the design phase. See, first integrator for the design phase is approval of SRS. SRS is nothing but system requirement specification that has to be approved by the customer. This is the entry criteria. When the SRS has been approved by the customer, then only it will meet the entry criteria for the design phase. The approved SRS by the customer is the entry criteria for the design phase. It enters into the task now. Steps perform the task are evolve an architecture, perform high-level design, perform detailed row-level design, write program specifications. And exit criteria, complete traceability between design and SRS. You have to check, make sure that the SRS and design are traceable. Development team ready to start programming. With the help of, after the completion of the design, with the help of design, the development team should be able to write the coding or program, are ready to start the program. This is exit criteria. Exit criteria means with the help of the design phase, the development team should be ready to write coding. The output for the exit criteria is architecture documents, design documents, and program specifications. This is a simple model which explains the different phases of a process model, ETVX, entry, task, verification, and exit criteria, which helps to build a software project or product with full functionality. Thank you.